George McCaskey, owner of the Chicago Bears, spoke today to the media and the news pundits. Interesting takes that he had. People thought it was going to be one thing, ended up being another thing. Chicago Bears owner speaking is very few and far between when we have these opportunities to actually hear him speak. So we're going to have a reaction clause. This is clause up, bear down, when we lock into all things Chicago Bears football. Without further ado, here is the press conference.
Kevin also mentioned the fans, and I want to thank and salute our fans. They've been a tremendous presence at training camp practices, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a lot of anticipation. We're very grateful for their dedication and their loyalty. It's very difficult, as we did today, to have to again close practice because of these weather conditions.
4 times the Bears have canceled open practices for the fans. George doesn't speak very often. He is present at camp. It's good to see that you can go talk to him. I spoke to him last week when I was at camp, and he has an interesting perspective on the Bears. Obviously, the Chicago Bears are everything for his family. They're his business. They're their livelihoods. They are their family's legacy. His relationship to the fans is at an interesting point right now. It's an interesting point for myself and other people, just to see how he reacts to the Chicago Bears and how he dictates what the fans think about
I feel terrible for all the people that were looking forward to this experience.
It's rough when they cancel all these events. The weather is one thing, but not having a family fest that people could go to. They had the varsity Bears that went to Stevenson High School. That's great for Stevenson High School. It's not only great for people around who are trying to actually get to Hallis Hall. It didn't make the process any easier. People still had a hard time getting those tickets too. So they're doing a little bit. They're not doing enough to get these fans experiences. And now with 4 missed practices, it is what it is. But it's tough seeing for the Bears right now.
Won't be able to have that experience. So we wish them the best, and we thank them. And also want to thank our staff that worked so hard to make these people feel welcome at the Hallis Hall campus, and in particular, Megan Clancy, Emily Rooney, Lee Twarling, and Michelle Burke-McCaskey, and their staffs for going out of their way in some hot and humid conditions that you've experienced.
They've done a great job at camp, though. That's what I will say. There are only a couple days you get up there, but if you were able to get up there, I was able to go up there with my daughter. It was a great experience. She had a blast. There were a lot of fan-friendly events, a lot of family stuff that we could do.
Bears hired Kevin to build a stadium, and that's not accurate.
This is where I think George ends up losing me. It's going to continue on as this press conference goes on. But what did you hire Kevin Warren for? If it wasn't to build a damn stadium. You hired him 5 years ago. You're no closer to building a stadium than you were before. You have one site in Arlington Heights where the stadium that was there before is now demolished. You don't have anything going. You have 2 potential sites in Indiana. You have people on the internet spreading rumors the Bears just changed their name from the Chicago Bears to the Indiana Bears. What is Kevin Warren doing to dispel all these rumors? How are they handling the narrative of what's going on? And what can they do to do a better job with the PR?
Reasons. His vision, his leadership, his consensus building, his ability to make difficult decisions.
He hasn't made any decisions that make any sense. What decisions has Kevin Warren made that helped the Bears get to a solution of where the stadium's going to go? They bought and they talked about Arlington Heights for years. They need to do something. Decisions. You still don't have a site in Indiana. You talked about a site in Indiana in December of last year, before the Packers game. And you still don't have a site?
Difficult time. Stadium experience was viewed by us as a plus.
U.S. Bank Stadium, I was there for SummerSlam. It is an amazing stadium. It is a great stadium. If they can build anything close to that, credit to them. I'm not very optimistic.
Kevin has reminded me more than once that it took the Vikings 11 years to get a stadium done in Minnesota.
So you've been talking about this. It's been 5 years trying to get a stadium done in Illinois. You've been trying to renegotiate your deal in Chicago for 15 years. So what's the timetable? You're cool with 11 years, Kevin? You're cool with 11 years, George? It's too much time, man.
Kevin has exhaustively answered, again, all of your stadium questions. be happy to entertain any non-stadium.
He's going to go ahead and answer only stadium questions from here. Now that I'm listening to it, it sounds like the reporters are laughing. He knows these stadium questions are going. But, like, why would you even start with that and say that? I'm not going to answer stadium questions. You know what's coming,
start
George.
us off if you have a question.
George, when you look at this plan for the stadium, is there any concerns about Chicago not being part? They will be Chicago Bears, they'd be the Hammond Bears.
No, we will be the Chicago Bears, whether we're in Arlington or whether we're in Hammond. And as Kevin said, our focus is on Hammond.
Slipped. This is a Freudian slip. He should have never said the words Arlington. He said Arlington. Arlington or Hammond. Arlington is still on the table, boys and girls. Absolutely has been the whole time. Arlington has never gone away. It's always been on the table. They have been using Indiana as a ploy. Now, can they be in Indiana? 100% they can still go to Indiana. That's for sure. But the owner himself said Arlington or Hammond. The fact, George, that you have to say we will still be the Chicago Bears no matter where we are is why this is such a mistake by you, because they actually allowed people on Twitter to get to a place where they are calling it the Indiana Bears. That is a disgrace. Your grandfather started the NFL. You are a Hallis by name. The fact that you have to go out here and say we will be the Chicago Bears. No shit, George. No shit. You'll be the Chicago Bears. But yeah, it has to be said in 2026, the Chicago Bears will stay the Chicago Bears. Then, now, forever, the Chicago Bears.
We're advancing.
To Northwest Indiana has been a source of anxiety and stress to at least Bears fans that I know. Do you understand their point of view there, that even though Indiana is close to downtown, it means something significant?
An adjustment.
No one wants adjustments, George. No one wants to adjust. We want to stay in Illinois.
But when I've driven that route, other than a sign telling me so, I wouldn't know that I've just crossed the state border.
You are the pride and joy of Illinois. He said the same thing to me. The same exact line to me before. So it's a canned response. It's not candid. It's a canned response. He had a plan to say that. He thinks there isn't really a difference. You're not going to move to Indiana, George. You aren't. You're going to keep your ass in Lake Forest. You are absolutely going to stay out there. So there's this idea there's no difference. Dude, there's a pride in being from the state. It's important to the fans. You think it's not, and the adjustment period nonsense drives me crazy.
And as Kevin said, once people see the building, once they get in there, once they understand that our top priority from day one was a world-class stadium experience.
Adjustment, it's in Hammond, Indiana. There's nothing world-class about Hammond, Indiana. There's nothing world-class about Hammond, Indiana. You can't put lipstick on a pig, George. It's Hammond, Indiana. There's nothing that makes this plan viable other than Indiana's the ones who are willing to give you money. That is it. That is what's viable for this.
Kevin mentioned the league and all this, the NFL, and you're obviously in close communication with the league all the time, your family. What feedback have you heard from Roger Goodell or the league on the idea of the Bears moving to Indiana, and are they fully on board with it?
But we had two reports to our stadium committee, of which I happen to be a member, and they've identified two viable sites, Arlington and Hammond. We've spoken to the commissioner often. He visited the Lost Marsh site himself. We think that ultimately they will become comfortable. This has happened with other teams.
I like that. They will become comfortable. He's not comfortable yet. He's not comfortable yet because he hears us, right? You fans, you guys talking on Twitter, making content online. He absolutely, the commissioner, Roger Goodell, hears what Bears fans are saying. And he knows that this is different than moving to Kansas City, from Kansas City, Missouri to Kansas City, Kansas. It just is. You are moving from Chicago. It's a mistake, man.
Recently,
it's a mistake.
Kansas City Chiefs, tremendous
There goes Kansas
legacy
City.
at Arrowhead Stadium. They won a lot of games there, a lot of exciting moments. And this is a move across the state line, which I'm sure the Hunt family and Clark Hunt are confident Chiefs fans will be able to make the adjustment. We see many parallels there.
I'm curious how you feel about the idea of Bearweather going away if you indeed get an enclosed stadium completed.
Yeah, well, I heard a lot about bear weather back in January. You know, this team from Southern California is going to come in here, and we're going to expose them to bear weather. And
This is out of control that he would say this. This is the answer that does not sit well with me at all about any of this. George McCaskey, you are the lineage of the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears franchise literally it flows through your bones and your blood. To say that bear weather doesn't matter, it matters to the fans. Regardless of, I think he's actually right. I agree with that point that, you know, LA came in and beat the Bears and it didn't matter then. You are still the guy that has to keep the traditions alive. It's important. This stuff matters. It matters to us. It doesn't matter to you, George. You don't care about this stuff. Because it's so weird because he doesn't come from a footballing background. He doesn't come from a business background. He just comes from a Bears background. He doesn't believe in bear weather because he's always watched games in a box. He doesn't know the difference. He doesn't care. You know who cares about bear weather? Ben Johnson cares about bear weather. Your quarterback is named the Iceman because of bear weather. George, you are the man in charge of the legacy of the Chicago Bears. And for you to say that bear weather doesn't matter, you're erasing part of history. You're just pushing that aside. It matters to us, George.
it's Francis.
Are you second guessing some of your, speaking of strategy, are you second guessing some of the strategy of the last few years to gain inroads in Illinois?
I don't think so. I think, as Kevin said, you learn from every experience. And as Kevin knows well, and I'm sure you've seen it happen in other markets, these are very challenging issues. Financial, tax, logistical, political.
The lack of authenticity is what just really kills me. And he's a political head, really. He's not a business head. He's not making a lot of these decisions. They have a board. He represents the family that owns the Chicago Bears. But just be honest. Like, you made mistakes, dude. You guys absolutely made mistakes. It was Arlington, then it was Chicago, then it was Arlington, then Arlington, you knocked down Arlington Racetrack, and now it's Indiana, but Chicago's back in. You've made mistakes. Just say, hey, man, this is a handout. This process sucks. You can say that. That's okay. It's okay, George, to say the process sucks. It's okay to say that you did a terrible job with the process.
Environmental.
Is that the costs are rising with every given day. It's been a little unclear though where that extra money will come from. Have you guys discussed that? I guess, is the McCaskey family prepared to eventually have to kick in more money than you guys have already committed?
Well, we said before, excuse me, our part of the financing is going to be primarily debt. So that is a constant concern. Anybody who's ever built a house, the longer it takes, the more expensive it is. Construction inflation is.
All their wealth is built in the Bears. Everything, every dime he has is built in the Bears, and they need the stadium to go up because they think it's going to help raise up their valuation on the team. The team's already worth $9 billion, like at least $9 billion, if not 10.
4 years ago when you spoke at Hershey High School about the Arlington Heights plan, and kind of see where you guys are now with the pivot to Chicago in the middle there, and have to keep kind of putting your focus on a new site. How do you kind of put in perspective where you come from then? Is it difficult for you to say we are so excited about Arlington Heights, and then say we are so excited about Museum Campus, and then say we are so excited about Memphis, Indiana?
Get him, press him, absolutely. What a question. Go get his ass. Tell him, make him say it. Those were the mistakes. Is that not a mistake, George? Is that not a mistake? Were you excited about that? Excited about that? Excited about that? You can't be excited about Hammond, Indiana. I don't believe it at all. There's like 3 people on the internet who are like, yeah, Hammond. Everyone else hates it.
That seems like a long time ago. I guess it was at least 4 years.
4 years ago.
And that's
You're
how
in
long
your
we've been
60s,
working on
70s
this
years
project.
old.
Trying to convince people that this is a project that could benefit a lot of people.
Could benefit a lot of people if you could pay for it yourself, George. It would benefit a lot of people because if you could pay for it yourself, you'd just be in Arlington Heights and this wouldn't be an issue. But you want someone else to pay for it. You want someone else to pick up the coins and pay for it, and you don't want to pay for it.
You have to be malleable. You have to be adjustable. You have to be flexible.
Kevin and both used the word minimal when talking about how often you've spoken with Illinois legislators. Are you waiting for them to come to you, for lack of a better word?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, we're all adults here. We can have constructive conversations, and I don't think it has to be, who calls who first. I mean, if there are substantive discussions to be had, let's have them. In Indiana,
They're still open.
they've been very
They're still open. If there's substantive conversations to have, let's have them. He's still open to Illinois. Of course he is. That's all. That's the hardest part. Is he's trying to convey and convince everybody else that they want to be in Indiana, and they just don't. They have 2 sites. They have 2 viable sites. They say. So why aren't you building? Why are there not shovels in the ground? It's all you guys talked about for 5 years. You want shovels in the ground before 2025. Well, now it's 2026, and there's
very
nothing
proactive,
done.
very communicative,
You're not proactive.
very
You're slow.
solution oriented.
Last two, Hampton.
George, it's pretty obvious. I know it's not up to you. It's between you and the state of Illinois and the state of Michigan. Bears fans are
You
less.
had a Freudian slip there, Hub, when you mentioned Michigan.
It's pretty obvious, though, that the majority of Bears fans are not particularly happy if the team leaves Illinois and goes to Indiana.
And this is based on your
I've done a lot of
stringent surveying methods.
George McCaskey, George Hallis McCaskey, son of Virginia McCaskey. Can you think about what you are saying and how disrespectful it is to the fans? No one wants it in Indiana, George. You know it. You release the season ticket holder survey. Release the season ticket holder survey. You have the information. I took that damn survey. George McCaskey, I took that survey. You release the information. You tell us what's on that survey. You tell us the percentage. I am willing to bet, my guess, that is over 80% of season ticket holders say they want it in Illinois. 80% is where I'd put that number at. That's my guess. And I think that might be a low estimate. I would still take the over. I would take over that and that survey from the season ticket holders that say they want it in Illinois. You're making this up. No one wants
That's
it in
a good
Indiana.
question.
Okay.
According to my research, what research have you guys done on how your fans are going to feel about this? Because it seems obvious that there's going to be more negativity than positivity if you leave the state.
Yeah, I don't mean to make light of it. I'm just questioning the premise of your question.
You did make light of it, George, but go
You
ahead.
could claim to speak for a majority of Bears fans, but yeah, we understand that that's out there, and it needs to be dealt with. We are doing surveying, research, data collection to address those issues. And as I said months ago, this is going to require an adjustment. But it required an adjustment when we went from Wrigley to Soldier. It required an adjustment when we went from Soldier to Champaign temporarily. And it required an adjustment when we came back to the quote unquote new Soldier Field. That's how it works over the course of 100 years plus of franchise stewardship.
Franchise stewardship. That's the George McCaskey press conference. There's not a lot. I mean, it's an interesting piece because he doesn't say very much, but he says a lot at the same time. Things that stand out to me is that he talked about bear weather not mattering. Well, it matters to a lot of people, George. He talked about going back and forth between Soldier Field and Wrigley Field and then down to Champaign. Well, those are all in Illinois, George. So I understand that there are people that don't like the state of Illinois. There's also a large majority of us that love the state of Illinois, myself being one of them. And it is important for us that the Chicago Bears stay in the state of Illinois. And I don't really care about how much it costs you. That's not important to me. What's important to me is that you put a good team on the field and that you keep the state in the state of Illinois. That's it. That's all I really care about. I want it to be here in Illinois. And I think a lot of fans do too. I don't think from my scientific estimates, there are not a lot of people who are like, Indiana is going to be great, and I can't wait for the Indiana Stadium. So let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts about the Chicago Bears moving to Indiana and to George McCaskey's comments today? What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments below. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to Claws Up, Bear Down, where we lock into all things Chicago Bears football. Thanks for watching.